Let's get right into it. Let's talk MLB action Saturday, April 12th, and welcome back to TBM Sports. I'm Mark. For those of you that do not know, we do talk sports gambling every single day here on YouTube, also on TikTok and X. Make sure you follow me on all platforms, and let's get right into the picks and a quick recap from yesterday. 3-2 on the card. Started off a hot 3-0, and then Nick Pivetta, tip of the cap to him with his K-prop, and we had a failing total. One-legged little outcome there with the Diamondbacks game as one team decided to score runs and falling a little bit short as we needed a couple more on that front. But hey, it's okay. We're going to cash. We'll take a cash every single day, and let's get one twice on Saturday. How about that? But overall, 9-3-1 over the last 3 days running in the MLB. We're running a little hot, and we're going to keep pushing the needle. 5 best bets, sides or totals. We are going to look into a lot of games. Not a lot of weather impacting us here on this Saturday. We had a little delay yesterday, and within the New York Yankees and the San Francisco Giants, we kind of get all the same today. That's going to be something where a lot of rain expected for them. So we will talk kind of what we have going on in that regard, and I'll get you guys into the picks and into the weekend and off of this video. I know it's early, but you guys probably want to go out, go golfing, check out the Masters, some good stuff like that. You don't want to be watching this old guy on YouTube, right? Anyways, jokes aside, let's get into the best bets and let's cash some tickets today. Yesterday was a great card. I really did like it from a lot of different angles, and today's not so much, but there are a couple that I really do like, and that's kind of why I'm building the more premium side of this platform, is because I want to get into more of the specifics and stuff like that. And a lot of people here on YouTube don't want to hear the nuts and bolts of everything. So I would love to do full game write-ups and all that fancy stuff. And that's kind of why we're building that on a different platform as we speak. Okay, first game, Minnesota and Detroit. That is going to be the first bet of the day that we will have. Okay, I quite frankly don't agree with this number. We get in kind of an insane kind of situation here, all right, as we look at Chris Paddock. I just don't understand it. I know that Jackson Jobe, younger pitcher, anything can happen. But hey, there was some promise with that kid, and you look at kind of what he's done, and I think the Tigers right now are probably taking the cake as the sneaky team thus far. But he went four innings pitch, three hits. He does have some command issues that I do look into as being a thing. Almost really want to get involved with the over here. That is probably, I think, I don't want to say smarter bet, but the more numbers bet when you look at the over 8.5, but 8.5 is a lot to roll the dice on within a AL Central divisional game. It just scares me a little bit. Potentially Detroit team total is an angle that I would look at, really attacking Chris Paddock for Minnesota. Minnesota's bats can be lull as well, but I don't agree with the road team in this divisional spot getting even money. So we are going to ride with the Detroit Tigers on the money line. So shout out to all my friends up in Michigan. If you guys are watching, we all kind of have this little Detroit, Cleveland kind of back and forth off the whole sports gambling landscape just as fans. But if you've been watching me, you understand that we can kind of separate the two in terms of bankroll management and trying to root for your squad. They don't coexist, just so you guys are all aware if you do want to do this full time. Next bet, Philadelphia and St. Louis. This is an interesting spot that we will have a play in. Okay, this will be straight up a fade on Miles Mikolas. That's no other way to put it. We look at Mikolas, 11.25 ERA. And if we talk about St. Louis, Philadelphia, batting average, runs per 9, all that good stuff, RBIs, slugging, these are two of the clubs that I do favor quite a bit. Christopher Sanchez has been brilliant in a few spots this season thus far, but he is vulnerable. St. Louis, if you look at kind of their team metrics from a hitting perspective, top 5 in a lot of batting categories, and that's kind of where I look into the Cardinals being able to get, at least 3 runs, and I do think the Phillies do win this game, so that would send us over the total of 7.5. Phillies team total, I don't mind. Phillies first 5, I don't mind, but I think the best way to attack this game is taking the full game total and just relying on the good old St. Louis Cardinals to kind of bail us out if the Phillies kind of get into a lull like we did yesterday. Okay, so give me over 7.5 St. Louis and the Philadelphia Phillies. Okay. Next game, we do get that early spot with San Fran and the Yankees. Jordan Hicks going for the Giants, and this is something where, guys, I think there's going to be a shit ton of runs. Just to be blunt with it again, you get in that small, that short porch in Yankee Stadium, mix in some bad weather, the ball's slippery, get some walks, load the bases, boom, slug, slug, slug. That's just kind of where we look at the Giants really being kind of the team that may rival the Dodgers if they can make some late season acquisitions out there in the NL West. So give me the Giants Yankees as a lean. We're going to stay away from it, okay? As much as I want to bet it, I hate in some spots going against my feel, and I am the type of bettor that if we do hit a bet, and I think it will, like for example, the Cleveland-Kansas City series we had midweek, bet the under. I will press that under the whole series, okay? I will do that. I'm very confident doing that sometimes. But in this spot, I'm staying away from it, okay? So when the Giants-Yankees game comes back at a score of 14-12 tomorrow, feel free to shoot me a message and make sure you let me know how stupid that was. But Giants-Yankees, I'm going to pass on this game outside of some player props possibly. But it's one where I do think that we do get some runs. Next bet we will be between the Mets and the Sacramento Athletics, Vegas Athletics, whatever the hell you want to call them. But David Peterson has been my kind of horse I've been riding early on in this MLB campaign. And now you see the Mets coming in at minus 134. For the life of me, guys, I know that we will probably get a lot of runs here on both sides. The Athletics 5-9 on the season. The Mets, the bats are starting to wake up. I think that Peterson has been brilliant in his few starts. I do like the Mets here. This is a cheap enough price. I would lay this up to minus 150, to be honest. I do think that Mets team total was live as well because the Athletics will find a way to score at least 3 to 4 in most spots. So if you do win this game on the money line, it's just a numbers thing. They're going to have to score 4 or 5, in my opinion. And if you like the run line, they're going to have to get 6. So alternate Mets totals are actually a little bit more so enticing than laying the full 1.5 with the Mets. But the game being played in Sacramento, it's going to be a lot of scoring. Polar Bears going to be wild. Soto, Lindor, all them guys fired up. Pad the stats, boys. Pad the stats, all you fantasy guys out there. But that's something where it's been a very impressive run to the over here. And it's kind of a mismanagement, I think, in personal opinion, with how the MLB conducts the 162-game season. They do a lot of dumb things from a scheduling perspective that I never quite frankly understood. And that's a whole nother topic for another day. Okay. Next game, Toronto and Baltimore. Bowden Francis, Shigano, we get a little kind of a resumption of what we were supposed to see yesterday. This is a game that, if you do want to get involved, it's a pitching thing where you could fade it and take the 8 as value and go under. This is a no play for me. I don't have a good read right now on Baltimore. They can score 8 and then the next day score 0. And going against a pitcher such as Bowden Francis, you normally fade in the spot. Anyways, just kind of how I bet it. It's not a good plus matchup for him. And it's something where as we look into the Blue Jays and the Royals, this will be a no play for me. Washington, Miami, next game on the card. One of the games that we kind of I had a little misspeaking yesterday. If you watched my full breakdown, you knew that I was on the Nationals. And at the end of the video, when I did my recap, I kind of misspoke and said Marlins. I corrected that in the comments shortly after my video. So that was one where the Marlins ended up getting out to an early lead and then faltering to the Nats as we had an explosive, I believe it was the 7th and the 9th top frame of those innings where you got to remember some guys, it's 27 outs. It doesn't matter as a bettor if you score them early in the game or late in the game. Nobody really cares, okay? It's all about cashing tickets, and you have to play the game into its entirety, the full 27 outs. So baseball is very similar to a lot of other sports in terms of handicapping, where just because you have an early lead, sometimes that actually kind of leads to being a death sentence in terms of your ticket. But personally, I'd rather prefer an early lead in baseball. Put the pressure on, make them have pressure, and then you can let your bullpen do the rest, okay? Because also when we get into these weekend series and the grind of 162 games, it's more so about kind of endurance. It becomes a marathon. And when you're handicapping, you're looking at these games and you say, okay, here we go on the card, right? The Red Sox versus the White Sox. And you're like, oh, well, the Red Sox are the best, clearly the better team, right? Not so fast. It's something where over a 162-game season, a lot of these games are not being played, at face value, 1-to-1 ratio. It's not in a static kind of environment. This is something where there's a lot of variables, and the variance in baseball is what I welcome because it does provide us a lot of opportunity to make money. Okay. Next bet, well, just to touch on that again, we won't have a play in the Nationals-Marlins game. I just wanted to kind of touch upon yesterday and how we kind of, how I had a little bit of a misspeaking there, okay? Atlanta, Tampa Bay, the Rays ended up winning that one, and as we see, Rasmussen outstanding in his first outing, going against Smith-Shawver. I just look at this game, and I really almost kind of want to put the Braves and just be very, it's almost you want to bet on the Braves in spots, and then if you're not going to bet on them, you just don't touch them. 3-10 on the season. The numbers just are kind of, they're too volatile. I chart a lot of things, and it's just kind of, at this moment in time, it's just not a team that I want to put money behind to win or lose. Okay, so they're kind of on my no bet list unless it's really a spot where we're going to fade a pitcher getting called up or something like that. But we're not going to touch this game with a 10-foot pole. Red Sox and White Sox, it's something where you got to understand, kind of almost want to lay that minus 154 there. I do lean Red Sox coming off a loss. The pitching matchup does not favor them. That's the only thing that does worry me. They're getting out of Fenway. They can hit the baseball, but as we look at kind of some of the betting splits and money, it does back me up here, as I do think the Red Sox at this expensive price would be how I would just lay this. I would just kind of take to win one unit if you were going to bet it and just walk away. It's almost law of averages too when the White Sox looking to win back-to-back games against a kind of more of a quality opponent than normal, and I would potentially just use that as the end-all be-all, but no play for me, and I don't really have an edge one way or another, okay? Next one is Kansas City and the Cleveland Guardians. Yesterday I gave out kind of my favorite lean in that game was the under. Also, I do favor Bubic. He got racked. So, yeah, the Guardians won by margin. In this spot, though, with Ortiz going for the Guards, I don't really see this being the same outcome. I think we get runs on both sides. I'm thinking more 4-3, 5-4 kind of ball game on a Saturday night in Cleveland. Check out the wind off the lake. It does play a role, but I do think this one becomes a 4-3, 5-4 kind of ball game, which puts us right at our number and at the odds that we're seeing plus 120, minus 130 for a home team with the worst pitcher. This is like auto no bet for me, especially with that divisional flair that we have going on. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, we did get some runs yesterday, potentially looking into the under 8.5. Cincinnati, the ball's flying, but the Cincinnati Reds, if we still look at kind of how they are in hitting as a club, the numbers don't back it up. I think this total is set a little too high. It's juiced to the under, and if I was going to touch it, I would be going under 8.5 at a minus 115 price as my best bet, but no official play. Now, the next bet that we do have a play in, this is kind of where I've been talking about it the last few days, about getting on the Astros before the market adjusts, okay? And if you kind of look at the MLB numbers here for the Astros, and we kind of go back the last 7 days for the Houston Astros, they're 8th in the MLB in batting average. In RBIs, in batting average the last 7 days, if we want to put it together and kind of compile this. They're 5th in batting average, 261. OPS is something that we do need to track a lot if you are into stats, and they're 10th in OPS. So I think that we talk about this. The interesting thing about it is the Angels are 1st in OPS in major leagues, and in terms of batting average, they're going to be 6th. They are up at the top with home runs. They are slugging the heck out of the baseball this year. Mike Trout's off to a very interesting campaign in terms of home run numbers, but it's not so much supported, okay? And we saw that last night as you look at the Astros finally breaking out, okay? Finally breaking out. We got a great performance by the Moon Men, whatever you want to call them. I call them the Spacemen sometimes. I don't know why. One of my Little League teams was the exact Astros. I shouldn't say Little League, but, one of my travel teams was the Astros logo. So a little partial to them, but now that they're in the, kind of dealing with the AL kind of thing with the Indians, I kind of find myself rooting against them, and also that kind of scandal within the, cheating and whatnot. It does kind of irk you a little bit. But anyways, as I talk about it, the Astros, they've been plating a lot of runs, and so has the Angels, okay? This is going to be an interesting bet for me. We're going to get a little risky here. I do like the pitching matchup quite a bit as we look into it, and this is kind of where you can see Ty Anderson going against Gusto. And Gusto had a great outing. We'll take him at home. We're going to roll the dice on this one. It's a plus kind of money kind of value play for me, okay? We're going to take Houston on the run line. We're going to lay that run line minus 1.5, and we're going to give them a shot today on a Saturday night. We're going to just trust our numbers, trust the process, and I'm going to just take a bet on the Astros that they're going to get it done by margin. So Astros win by 2 at least at a plus 140 price. That's why I'm turned on by that. So we're going to take the Astros here on the run line as an official play. Diamondbacks, Brewers, Corbin Burnes gets another shot of it going against Patrick. I really don't understand kind of why we're seeing these high totals not getting scooped up. Corbin Burnes has not been fantastic. Milwaukee's really impressed me from a hitting perspective. I would potentially go over the minus 108, the over 9 minus 108 as a best bet. No play for me, though. San Diego, Colorado, going back to kind of the old faithful that we've been deploying. I've pretty much been taking a lot of San Diego team total bets, and I think that favors us quite a bit in this spot as well. Taking San Diego money line, parlaying that with the Padres team total, maybe even go a run down, and you get some right around even money, plus money. I like the Padres in the spot, but I won't lay the minus 165, and that's kind of how I view it. Padres, worst pitching team in baseball, batting average allowed, ERA allowed, the list goes on and on. So I love me some Padres. Just kind of want to get that price a little cheaper. So if you were to bet this game, parlay that with the runs expected for the Padres. Next game is the Cubs and the Dodgers. We're going to go Dodgers team total over 4.5, going against Ben Brown. We saw a lower scoring affair, but I do play Dodgers momentum a lot. And at home, they're going to have the Oregon going. They're going to be fired up on a Saturday night. Get some Southern California weather, getting the baseball flying out of the ballpark. We saw a great walk-off, kind of not a walk-off, but all it took was one swing for the Dodgers, so end up winning 3-0. And that's kind of how I feel about that game. So Dodgers team total over the 4.5 runs will be our best bet in this contest as we look at it at a minus 118 price. No play for me in the Mariners-Rangers game. Brian Wu on the bump going against Kumar Rocker. It's hard to bet against the Rangers. It's hard to take an under, albeit they are in Safeco, whatever you want to call it, out in Seattle. That's something where it does favor unders quite a bit. Pitcher's ballpark, but Kumar Rocker, 8+ ERA. Maybe he'll do a little bit better in terms of his numbers, but it's something where I look at this total and where it sits at currently at 7. Rangers, Mariners, when they hit the ball, 7's going to be just nothing. It's going to be nothing to blow through. So this is a pass for me as well. Okay, so there it is, guys. Welcome back. Let's keep this one going. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and join us here at TBM Sports. Quick rundown of the picks. Mets money line, Philadelphia, St. Louis going over 7.5. Houston Astros on the run line minus 1.5 at plus 140. Dodgers team total over 4.5. And we're going to take the Detroit Tigers on the money line plus 100. A couple leans along the way. Probably will not give out a pick for that Padres game, but we'll see how the early action shakes out. I'll probably get involved as we have an 8:40 first pitch on the East Coast. Get involved with that Colorado and San Diego game a little bit later on. So appreciate it, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Cash some tickets, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.